Many prospective epidemiological studies have shown for a very long time that people who were subjected to a great deal of stress, whatever their age, children, adults, had a greater weight gain and were even more often overweight or obese. So this is a matter of great concern. But what has been shown above all is that this corresponds more to situations of social stress, which are more often associated with weight gain. Social stress is a fairly specific but fairly widespread situation in which people experience their work in a negative way in terms of constraints, but also have the impression of having little latitude, few possibilities of being in control of the situation. And so this type of stress is associated with an increase in weight gain and the risk of obesity. There are two types of mechanisms involved in weight gain under stress. The first is through diet. As we all know, when we're irritated, upset, or under any kind of stress, we tend to rush to food because it's going to calm us down, particularly fatty and sweet foods, which are the most relaxing, soothing, and calming. And so there's a compensation phenomenon that occurs at that moment. That's the first mechanism, which is quite classic, of course. And the second mechanism is a hormonal one that works through the endocrine glands, in particular the adrenal glands, and in particular catecholamines, which are the hormones involved in stress and which desensitize the adrenergic system, leading to a reduction in lipolysis and therefore weight gain. But there is also a second hormone involved, cortisol, which is produced by the pituitary gland and which reaches the adipose tissue and stimulates the production of adipose cells. And so there is abdominal weight gain, intra-abdominal weight gain, through an increase in the number of fat cells in the abdomen. So all this has consequences because we know that abnormal visceral weight gain is associated with an increased cardiometabolic risk, i.e., a risk of diabetes and a risk of cardiovascular disease. So it's clear how important it is to control stress, particularly to reduce the consequences for health, but also to reduce the risk of weight gain. Solutions to weight loss are not that simple. One solution would be to wave a magic wand and solve everything. In fact, it's much more complex than that, and we need to avoid restrictive diets, which can cause problems, because we know that when you go on a restrictive diet, stress will cause you to lift your inhibitions, which means you'll turn more to food because you're in a sort of frustrated situation. You should therefore avoid restrictive diets. On the other hand, we're going to try in small steps to improve our diet, which we can do now, and to improve our physical activity, which we can do now. This will enable weight to be gradually reduced, but we also need to take action on the other factors associated with weight gain, in particular, sleep deprivation, physical activity, as has already been said, and of course, stress. But how do you reduce stress? We could say we need to reduce stressful events, but we all have plenty of them in our lives, and that's harder said than done. On the other hand, we can reduce stress or its effects by learning to manage it through practices ranging from hypnosis to cognitive behavioral therapies, yoga, sophrology, relaxation, and, of course, physical activity, which is the best way to relax and has a well-known anti-stress effect. These are all the ingredients you need to better manage the risk of stress-induced weight gain.